start? All right, I'm ready. It's supposed to have a red dot.
It's got a red dot, but
I
yeah, it's
know.
timing now. Go.
Okay. What can cause children's reading development to decline? Their creative test scores to drop and their perceptions of set roles to be more stereotyped. A section titled Modeling in Television by Dennis Kuhn states all of these effects were caused by television. While a child is watching TV, it may not seem as if they are being harmed, but children, especially in the adolescent years, absorb what they see happening on TV. Lots of parents expose their children to cartoons, thinking cartoons would be okay for their children to watch. Some parents even expose their children to mature programs and do not realize the effects the programs have on their child. Viewing lots of violent television causes an increase of violence towards others in children. Violence, aggression, and crime in the youth could possibly be reduced or nearly eliminated if parents would take action and monitor the amount of violence their children intake on TV. In this speech, we will talk about today's television and the violence it contains, the reason children are affected by it, and what parents can do to prevent their children from becoming aggressive due to television. By the time the average teenager has graduated from high school, they will have viewed 15,000 hours of TV and spent only 11,000 hours in the classroom. All of those hours of television showed 18,000 simulated murders and nearly 200,000 other acts of violence, such as robbery, arson, or torture. Television networks have the choice to rate their programs for FCC standards. TVMA stands for programs that are appropriate for mature audiences only. TVPG stands for programs that children should watch with parental guidance. There are 3 other ratings that include TVG, TVY7, and TV14. There's a technology called the B-chip in televisions that can be used to block out shows depending on their FCC rating. Parents could use this technology to reduce the amount of violence a child watches on TV, but many do not take advantage of it. Now that we have discussed the problem of television's violence effect on children, we will discuss what things contribute to children becoming violent. When a person is exposed to an act of violence, they become more accepted to the violence, and the violence is less shocking, especially if the same act is repeated numerous times. If television would have never been created, there would be less homicides, fewer rapes, and a smaller numbers of injuries due to assault. Children are even more susceptible to influence from television violence because they are in the stage of learning and growing. Before a person develops into an adult, they usually create a basis of values and morals. Being exposed to violence creates an acceptance of that violence, and it is very common for children to act out violence they intake from television. Even though the violence on television can affect all races, ages, genders, and economic levels, children are the easiest minds to mold. Some scientists think violence is almost an addiction, and that we have developed a tolerance to it, which is why more and more violence is on TV compared to past years. The phenomenon of the effects of TV can be explained by the psychological term observational learning. Observational learning is achieved by watching and imitating the actions of another person, or by noting the consequences of the person's action. Children see violence on TV, pay attention to it, remember it, and eventually try to reproduce it. Roles commonly seen on TV are transformed into real life, such as the bully and the geek, the popular and the unpopular, and the good and the bad. We have discussed violence on TV, how children are made aggressive from it, and now we will talk about things parents can do to protect their children. There are many ways a parent can monitor and control what programs are viewed on TV. The B-chip is in most TVs and is used to restrict certain programs depending on their rating. A parent can set their B-chip to block out TVMA programs, TV14 programs, or anything besides TVG. The B-chip allows a parent to monitor what appears on the TV without having to constantly watch what comes on. If a TV does not have a B-chip, a parent should monitor what programs come on or order only appropriate channels. Most satellite companies allow the subscription holder to set limits on program ratings with a password needed to unlock. The amount of influential media on TV this decade is at an all-time high. Children are unaware and innocent because they do not realize how they can be affected by it. Because of this, parents are responsible for protecting their children from the violence of TV. If parents take this responsibility seriously, they can prevent their children from becoming aggressive and violent young adults. It seems that the violence on TV is here to stay, so we as adults are what can make the difference in children's future. Good job.
That wasn't 7 people. Somebody didn't clap.
Okay. How do I turn this off?
Click the red. It's basically between 3 and 6 minutes.
Oh, you did good.
How long over 6, they take points away. I can check and see.
How do you turn it off?
I don't think you went over 6. I think it was 5.
Yeah.